Okay, hi there YouTubers. It's been a while since I've made a video, and the last video I made was about my Pod X3 Live, and since then I have upgraded to this guy. This is a Line 6 Helix LT, and this video is about how to lubricate your pedal. My pedal started squeaking. I've had this guy for, I don't know, about 5 months now, 4 months. And by the way, this thing is freaking awesome. I love this thing. And but anyway, I'm going to show you how to take this thing apart and lubricate your pedal. I've already done mine, but I'm going to take you through the process and some of the things that you need to know. You do have to take all of the bottom screws off, and then make a nice little pile, keep them all separate like I did mine, okay, laying here. And just so you know, you do have to take the side panels off. This will not come off unless you take these side panels off over here. So these are a different type of screw. These are Allen or hex keys. And the size for these side panel screws are 2.5 millimeter. So you can use a regular Allen wrench, or I have these little T-bars. And this one here is for tightening the pedal. This big screw right here, you'll see when I get inside, that's how you tighten it, and that's also how you're going to take it apart. But one thing to note, you do have to take the side panels off. I already said that. You have to take all the bottom screws off, and then it still will not come off unless you take these two screws off on each corner. Okay? That will hold this on. Okay? So it will not come apart unless you take those screws out too. Once you get all the screws out, you should be able to lift one side of it. Should be able to. And maybe slide it or something, but it will come off. What I had to do is take a little screwdriver and stick it in the gap. Okay. But if you pry up, that will come off. Then you can slide it a little bit to get over that the tightening screw, the pedal tightening screw over here. Slide it over and it'll come off. And there we have the lid off. Now, once you get inside, this is actually, I like this design a lot better than the full Helix floor, because it's way easier to work with this, and there's nothing welded to break off on this thing. This is way better. But what you want to do when you get this open is you're going to take your Allen wrench and you're going to have to take this bolt all the way out. Now I'm not going to do it because I already did mine, but as long as you're careful, when you get this bolt out, this little crossbar is going to drop. It might drop off, it might not. And you're going to, the way this is organized, just so you know, this little piece right here is to, if you come around this way, this little piece right here is what holds the nut so that you can tighten this without having to hold the nut. It's just a little thing that the nut locks into, and it won't allow the nut to turn. And then it catches on this thing so that you can tighten this and take it out without doing it. But you're going to take that out, and then you're going to, what you should do is very carefully, as you're pulling this out, very carefully keep track of the order of things. I will tell you that there's this nut, then there's this little bracket that locks the nut so it won't turn, and then there's going to be a metal washer and then a plastic washer, and that's going to be on this side of this little crossbar. It's going to be down in here. So there's going to be a metal washer, then a plastic, and then this thing that the bar goes through. Then on the inside, it's going to be the plastic nut and then a metal washer. So that's a space in there that's going to have the plastic washer or spacer and a metal washer. Then the cross member, and mine didn't fall out, but it did move a little bit when I pulled this bolt all the way out. This bolt goes all the way through. Then on the other side, this space here between, this piece is actually part of the pedal, as well as this part is part of the pedal. These two center things is what holds everything in place, and it's actually part of the case that was cut out and bent up. It's not welded, so it's kind of cool. In my opinion, that's a good thing. Anyway, so when you get over to this side, it's going to be a metal washer, and then your plastic spacer. Then on the outside of this, it'll be the plastic washer and metal washer, and then of course the nut. What you want to do is you want to pull that all out, okay, and then clean everything real good. Just get a paper towel or something and clean everything off really good. And then you want to use what's called white lithium grease. This is general purpose grease. You can use it for everything. The nice thing about white lithium grease, you can use it on your cars, you can use it on everything, and it lasts and lasts and lasts. It's really, really, really good grease for these kind of things as well as any other thing. So get white lithium grease. Now you do not want to coat that thing so that it's completely white. You want to just get some on your fingers and just rub it around on the shaft of the screw that you're going to take out, the big long bolt. Just get it all over it, not completely coated. You don't want it so it's white. You just want it so there's a film of it on there. Then you're going to feed it back through here in the order. So it's going to be, you're going to feed it through this metal washer, plastic washer, and then through this, which is part of the pedal. Okay. Then you're going to feed it through the plastic spacer and the metal washer, and then through this part on the frame, and then it's going to go through this center tube, okay, that spacer. Then it's going to go through this metal washer and plastic spacer, and then through this part of the other side of the pedal. See it turn? And then it's going to go through a real thin plastic washer and a real thin small metal washer, and then it's going to be this little bracket that the nut fits up in, and it's the thing that locks the nut so it won't turn. Now you don't want to crank this thing. Actually, you just want to turn it until you see it's snug, and then tilt this thing up and push your pedal. And if it's like really loose, just give this like a less than a quarter of a turn, and then try it again. When you get it to what you think is right, then you're good, and don't worry about putting it back together because you can access that thing after it's all back together. Okay. So anyway, this is my Helix LT. It was squeaking. I showed you how to take it apart. I told you the order of everything in there when you pull this bolt out. I told you about the two screws here that you got to take out, or it will not, the bottom will not come off. And by the way, this one again, just so you know, because in my last video people asked me a couple times even though I mentioned it. This is a 3/16 inch Allen wrench, or this is an Allen wrench with a T-bar. I like these better. And the little screws on the side, those are a 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench. And the rest of the screws are just Phillips head. And by the way, this is like a number 2 Phillips head screwdriver. It's not the wee little dinky one. I had that one there just in case, but it's actually a regular sized Phillips head. So then you just put it all back together, and you're good to go, man. So there you have it. Helix LT, lubricating your pedal if it squeaks, and how to tear it apart. See you guys.